Sometimes when people talk with you about coming into physical again, you say that it's a very general intention, to find joy here, that we'll have our guidance, and it seems very general.
The reason we say that is because we're wanting you all to understand that there is joy to be had everywhere. In other words, sometimes physical friends actually feel competitive with each other about where and when and to whom they were born. And they want to say things like, if I had been born in a different time or to different parents or in a different economic environment, then I would have had a better experience. And we want you to understand that from your non-physical perspective, everything going just the way you think you'd like it to go was not what you were all looking for. You were looking for adventure. You were looking for opportunity. You were looking for contrast that would stimulate desire. You're creators. That would be comparable to a magnificent creator who wants to come forth and find many different elements with which to create, to come forth and find one little jar of yellow paint and say, well, I guess I'll paint flower and suns.
My question is, though, sometimes you seem to allude to that there are specific intentions, like somebody might be born with a disability that'll prod their parents into some new understanding.
Well, what we always want to say to you is that the specifics are not necessarily what you are choosing, but the essence is very powerfully pulsing within you. For example, someone who is a powerful teacher very often will come forth into an environment of harsher contrast because they want to get an early run at getting clear about who they are and what they want. In other words, they want to come fast to the decision of wanting to guide their own experience because they are going to eventually be teachers that guide others how to make experiences. Sometimes they'll come forth very powerfully with an intention of wanting specific experience relative to specific things. You are very clear intentioned when you come forth, but it is the essence of your intention that is clearly vibrating within you, and you come forth really with an attitude of allowing the universal forces to give you the environment in which you can experience that.
So is it where we're vibrating before we've become physical that determines what our situation will be?
The answer to that has to be yes, but we also want to add to that all of you without exception are vibrating in very extraordinary, wonderful places. In other words, the assumption that physical beings want to jump to right away when we talk about vibration and we talk about creation is that if this person is born in poverty or into violence, that then their vibration must not have been in the right place when they came forth. And that is never true. Their vibration was always in the right place. And they came into this environment under those conditions because there was something they wanted to mine from that experience.
Okay.
That's really the message that we are attempting when we say to you that you come forth with these general intentions, general but powerful, that I am worthy and I am valuable and I am capable and I have a guidance system within me and I will find my way.
So if before I was born I had, say, a specific intention to achieve during my lifetime.
Such as?
Say, to be a teacher. As I go through my life, I could change that intention also then.
You could, but what happens is when there is this powerful vibrational essence or essential intention that is within you, your guidance says, please proceed to the highlighted route. Please proceed to the highlighted route. In other words, when you are doing things that are potentially satisfying that, it feels like something you want to do. And when you are doing things that are not a vibrational match to that, it feels off.
So I couldn't change my mind about my intention?
You can, and that's why we're saying it is the essence, not the specifics. There is so much variety, opportunity within every non-physical, essential, or essence intention. So there are truly no limitations for a physical being. You could come forth into this physical environment and choose just about anything in terms of your path, and it could be a way that you could satisfy those intentions. Because think about it, the intention for joy can be satisfied everywhere. The intention for growth can be satisfied in every endeavor. The intention of being an uplifter and being uplifted could be satisfied in every environment. We're just wanting to sort of shake loose those distorted ideas that you have been pre-assigned your life, and that if you don't find the specific path to that pre-assignment, then you've wasted it. Because it isn't like that at all. You are fabulous creators who have come into an environment with intense eagerness to have a joyful experience, and the specifics of it are left to your creative endeavors here. So you could find your joy as a teacher through music or through art, or you could teach what Abraham teaches, or you could teach the art of appreciation, or you could teach archery. And in the process of teaching it, you could talk to them about focus and about alignment and about well-being and about their capabilities. In other words, the possibilities are endless. There is not one path for your path, ever.
Thank you so
Yes,
very
indeed.
much.
Yes, indeed.
The main limitation to what I will allow for myself is this one big belief, thought, that there really isn't enough. That we live on a finite planet, and that if everybody on this world lived the way the people in the United States live, there wouldn't be enough. And therefore, when I hear you say, we live in an expanding universe, I don't believe that. I can't hear that. So, can you speak to that for me, please?
Well, it's easy to understand why it would be hard for you to believe, because you are aware that no one's trucking any resources in from other planets. In other words, it feels finite in the sense that you can't see any other pipelines coming in. But sometimes it's helpful to contemplate how the planet got here to begin with. Where did it come from? Where did all of the resources that you are mining and discovering come from? And it's easy for us to understand because we know that there is thought, and then there is thought form, and then there is manifestation. And so we have no difficulty understanding how the planet got here to begin with, or how it continues to replenish itself, or how the resources continue to recycle. You recycle things in a very awkward way. Your planet recycles things in a very efficient way. In other words, the recycling process is always underway. It helps us because we know that from the standpoint of the law, that if you have the ability to identify a desire, that this environment has the resources to deliver it, and that there is no limitation in that promise. We have the benefit of longer view, where we have seen so many civilizations continue to live and thrive and prosper. But we certainly understand why your logic tells you otherwise. Perhaps it's one of the reasons that we encourage so much the reaching for the alignment with who you really are, because when you align with that broader perspective, the feeling of well-being comes over you. Tell us, just for sake of conversation and for hopefully the sake of soothing you some, which resources are you most worried about?
Well, the ones that we would consider non-renewable. The ones that...
And which ones are those? Because we've not seen any of those.
I would say oil.
Oil is non-renewable?
Well, there is a limited amount of oil, has to be, in the earth.
Well, how did the oil get there?
Through millions and millions of years, supposedly, they say.
So you are concerned that your consumption rate may supersede your ability to create it?
Yeah, that's a tiny portion of my question and my concern, because it seems to me that the way we're living outstrips the planet, period, that we are living in such a way that the planet cannot support us. And oil is one of those factors.
Has oil always been the primary fuel for energy?
No, not until recently.
And so, in the same way that it has been discovered to meet the demands of the requests, is it conceivable that there could be other?
Absolutely.
And is it possible that, like the steam engine, oil could become obsolete and
Absolutely.
no longer necessary?
Hopefully.
Does that make you feel better?
Sure.
In other words, it is our promise to you that if there is an asking or a demand for it, that the resources are here. You see, we touched on this briefly earlier, that the population of the planet is orchestrated from broader non-physical view. It isn't something that is population control by the governments who allow only one child, or by the beheadings of those who have more than one. It really is not so different from the animal management from broader perspective. And we know how sometimes when man gets involved that it can feel like there is a distortion of that. But the population of the planet is powerfully and perfectly managed from broader perspective. And so it is our promise to you that more potential desirers than your planet has the ability to satisfy will never come forth at one time. It just cannot be.
But that doesn't satisfy my question, because I don't believe that. What I believe is that a lot of our desires are manufactured by people who just want to make money and get rich for no good reason.
We are certain that that is true, because most everything is economically driven. But the economically driven cycle is not out of balance with the laws of the universe, because it comes from the basis of each individual trying to do what the individual perceives as best for self. And the reason that we have no concern about it is because we understand that every individual that asks will be answered. For example, let's say that the desire that is exuding out of you and maybe thousands of others is that the resources not be used up too soon. And that this desire has been born out of the contrast that you are living. So that desire now is something that is now being satisfied. And as it is being answered, inspiration is coming to scientists to utilize things in other ways. It is one of the magnificent things, there are many, about contrast, where each time it feels that you're getting lopsided. In other words, too much of something causes a desire for something else. And when that desire for something else comes forth and Source answers it, now there is a sort of rebalancing. Jerry talks about how it feels to him like the pendulum swings, and it will get all the way over here, and then it will start swinging back, and it will get right about to where he thinks is perfect, but it won't stop there. It will keep going all the way over there, and it will come back to all right where he thinks is almost perfect, and it will go all the way over there. And we say, but in that swinging process is the continuing asking and answering. And so we know it is not very satisfying to have someone who doesn't even claim to be from here, who is non-physical, who pays no rent and eats no food, to talk about how you don't need to worry about your resources, but you really do not need to worry about your resources. And if we were standing in your physical shoes, the message that we would be reaching for today would not be, how can someone convince me that this finite planet really is infinite and that whatever we are wanting will always come? We would be reaching for soothing thoughts that would bring us personally into alignment. Because when you think about it, thoughts of overutilization do not feel good. And the reason that they do not feel good is because they are not in alignment with what the broader part of you knows to be. In other words, that's the way the guidance always works. When you get crossways of who you really are and what you really know, that's where the discomfort comes. All shortage thinking, no matter how validated it is by the facts, feels uncomfortable because it is cross-current with the laws of the universe. We could say to you, well, just hang in there and your longer view will make you feel reassured. But meanwhile, we would say, just do your best to appreciate the powerful resources that keep turning up and watch for evidence of more. In other words, if we were standing in your physical shoes, we would say, universe or God or Abraham or whoever you're wanting to project your questions to, please give me evidence that helps me to believe in the well-being of future populations. And then you will be privy to scientific discoveries, to new innovations, to water purification systems, to more prolific utilization of soil, to more management of resources, to cultural changes in what is desired. In other words, that pendulum that is swinging, many people from shortage are wanting more, more, more. And now we are fast approaching classes on demanifestation. People are getting so buried in stuff. In other words, there are many people who are really wanting to downsize. They are buried in all of the stuff that they are trying to dust and insure.